Good to have you all with us again today. The real music fills up, but you know, we do that kind of over the next 15 minutes. It tends to happen. So anyway, welcome to those of you who are here for the start of this day. This is the final session on the Day of the Lord. And last week and this week, I have tried to expand on the message that I gave a few weeks ago on the great Day of the Lord. And today, I'm wanting to share with you some things that let me say it this way. I felt like the Lord kind of gave me a big download over the last 3 days. And now, if this is not, this is the Communist China Empire. Notice that both of them are allied with the Russian Federation. This is interesting. Iran is supplying, including the drones. Okay? Islam has, the Islamic nations are purchasing fuel from Russia. Even though we have a worldwide sanction, the first piece is saying, you gotta be kidding, I'm gonna buy oil where I want to. And furthermore, OPEC nations are largely Islamic nations. So when you're talking OPEC, you're talking Islam.
There's a difference between financial, compelled to buy it at the lowest price and a political alliance. But yeah, I realize they're supporting it because they're feeding it, but they're not about to, it's not about loyalty, because they feel like the West is the one that caused all the pollution. Look at the floods in Pakistan now. I mean, they want reparations.
Yes.
There's so many things going on,
Let me stay focused on this now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is 1.98 billion people out of 5 billion total in the world.
Wow.
That is 24% of the world's population already belongs to the first beast.
Wow.
China alone is 1.4 billion people. That's just China. But then there is a whole chain of Asian nations like Vietnam, North Korea, Malaysia. These nations were already communist, and they are Asian, and they surround it. So there is the Asian horn, and then there's the non-Asian horn of this beast. Okay, it says it's two horns like a lamb. If it's like a ram, it curves under, but the lamb is still two horns that point out, which, by the way, all of the Chinese dragons have on. Okay? China is already 26% of the world's population if they never conquered anyone. We are 340 million. You could begin to see that we're only about 3% of the world's population. 49 nations of the world are majority Islam. In other words, they're Islamic nations. 21 nations have multi-million population that is Islam, like India, even though it's not the dominant population. Okay. It's an alliance of Arabic and non-Arabic nations. Islam 1, Islam 2. And so the Arabic nations were started in Saudi Arabia. Muhammad, they started terrorism. The first thing that Muhammad ever did is start holding up caravans and demanding some kind of a ransom in order to be released. Nothing's changed. Okay, that's still going on. Then, when the Ottoman Empire took over, we have this huge number of nations that are not Arabic, but Islamic. Far more than are Arabic. So, Pakistan is a great source of terrorism. but it's not Arabic. It certainly is. When we were fighting in Afghanistan, we were fighting Pakistan all the time, although it claimed to be with us. For 1,500 years, the beast has been warring against Jews and Christians. They want Israel and the Jews taken off of the face of the earth. The rest of us are infidels. And we need to be taken care of. So either we go into submission or we are killed. That's the way Islam does business. Islam is committed to ruling the world. It is committed to the destruction of Jewish Israel and infidel nations. It uses bullying, intimidation, threat, war to advance their empire. It is a national policy to lie, steal, cheat, and to kill. Does this look like anybody that's described in the scriptures? Jesus says that Satan's middle name is liar. And when it describes Satan, it describes all of these things right here. He comes in to cheat, to kill, to steal, to lie. That's what he comes in to do. And this becomes national policy for these two empires. They're all over the United States cheating and stealing from us right now.
And it's in the Quran to do that.
Yes. You can lie to a person for the sake of Islam.
Where does the Vatican fall into all this?
Let me finish this, okay? The woman is Israel. The baby is Messiah. The mountains are the nations of the world that received Jewish believers and Christian persons being persecuted. America became that. Even all of our original founders, they were not Jewish refugees. They were refugees from the Christian nations of Europe, where they didn't have the freedom to worship God the way they wanted to. The dragon in Revelation is Satan. The sea are the peoples of the nations. So when it says a beast comes out of the sea, it means enormous numbers of people have given birth to that movement. The two witnesses are theirs.
You know, when Indonesia was a colony from Holland, the church was a great witness in Indonesia.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That under the pressure of the United States, all the Dutch people had to leave.
Yes. Well, when you had all of these nations were empirical nations. They went to the third world and imposed the will of the first world. And so you go out through Africa, you go through Asia, you go through the Middle East, and the nations of Europe they parceled up the third world after World War I, and even after World War II, so that the world would be controlled by the Allied nations, of which the Netherlands was one of them.
Yeah.
And so you go to Africa, every nation in Africa was under one. These are the Asian communism and the European communism. Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon is not communist, it is not Islamic. Mystery Babylon is the digitally connected world of money, communications, and commercialization. So if you can access it on your phone, like Deborah's just doing, anything you want to get on that phone is Mystery Babylon. You can go anywhere, you can buy anything, you can rent anything, you can sell anything. It is the commercial way of doing business. You can bring cash to a store and they're not really sure they want your cash. I mean, they'll take it, but it'd be far better if it were digital, because they can deal with it that way, yes.
South Korea will be start
World that we all have come to have to get along with. And in doing that, you have participated in Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon began as a U.S. thing, then it was joined by the European capitals, and then the world banks of the various nations. The World Bank is in New York City. And if Nigeria needs money and liquidity in their bank, they have to go to the World Bank and get a loan from the World Bank. And the World Bank controls the liquidity of every nation's currency in the world. You know, we have a cousin that, she just died, but she was the attorney in charge in the World Bank for all of the African nation banks. And so any nation bank in Africa that wanted money had to go to the World Bank, and our cousin was the one who handled all that paperwork and supervised the distribution of capital to the nations of Africa. And other people have that same kind of, it's not a US thing, it's Mystery Babylon thing.
So what's the International Monetary Fund? Is that part of the World Bank, or is
Yes, it is. The International Monetary Fund is actually currency controls, not banking control. So it controls the actual money. Whereas the amount of money that you have in your World Bank or in your nation bank is controlled by the World Bank. The two different organizations.
You notice also the supplier of the finances for military hardware on both sides of a war.
Yes.
That's
So
crazy.
we have, our dollar has been based on the petrodollar. When Nixon went to OPEC and said, we will protect you from all enemies that attack you if you will only receive payments for OPEC oil in dollars, petrodollars.
Yeah.
They agreed. The reason we were in the Gulf War is because we were honoring our commitment to Kuwait. They were being overrun by Iraq, so we were obligated by contract because Kuwait required even China to pay for oil from Kuwait in dollars. Okay. 2 weeks ago, Kuwait started receiving payments from China in China currency because Biden tried to make them do what he wanted, and they were only there because of the dollar, the petrodollar. And so we've had the largest national energy reserve in the world. It's like in Fort Knox, they used to have a gold reserve because that gold made your dollar worth something. Our petrol reserves and our national independence on energy kept the dollar tied to energy, to barrels of an oil. But we have just sold 80% of our national strategic petroleum reserve to guess who?
China.
China. We are down now to 20%. That's like having sold all of the gold in Fort Knox down to 20%. What's the value of your dollar if you're on the gold standard? What's the value of your dollar if you're on the barrel of oil standard and you just sold all of your standards? The criteria that establishes the value, you've given up.
Fiat money, something like that.
Okay? This is going to get her mad. I don't want to hear her shout.
I know.
Okay, so the 144,000, these are the Jewish evangelists that after the rapture, they're going to discover that all of this that they thought wasn't true is true. And they're going to grab every Torah they can find. They're going to find every Bible they can read because the eyes are going to become clear, the scales are going to fall off, their ears are going to become able to hear, their minds are going to be able to see, and the Jewish people are going to discover that the Messiah that they had, read Zechariah 12:10. They mourn the ones whom they had pierced. There'll be this great revival that's going to occur in that end time. The church, the believers will all be gone. Okay? Including all the Messianic Jews in Israel will be gone. And they're going to see all of that. And they're going to say, oops. And they're going to start crying out to God, and there's going to be this mass revival of the Jews who are going to be restored to the God of Israel. And that mighty revival is going to cost them their life because Beast 1 and Beast 2 are forming an alliance, it says in this chapter. They share their power, which is satanic. They share their authority, which is satanic. And Islam is going to be supported by communism, and communism is going to be supported by Islam because they have a common enemy. Jewish people and Christian people. They both share the common enemy for different reasons. And your enemy becomes my enemy, and we become friends, even though we were enemies before. So the Shiites can align with the other branches of Islam as long as we're fighting Israel. Now, when the war on Israel is over, we're going to kill each other. Okay. The States.
But it is outdated.
Old.
But China wants an alliance with Russia because of Russia's weapons research and knowledge, especially atomic energy. The 24 elders are the 12 sons of Jacob and the 12 apostles of Messiah. Who are the 12 sons of Jacob? These are the 12 tribes.
12 tribes.
Okay? So, each of the heads of the tribes, what are the names of some of the tribes?
Reuben.
Benjamin, Judah, Dan, Reuben,
Simeon, Dan,
all right, you got it,
Naphtali.
all right. These are going to be 12 of the 24. And then the apostles of Jesus Christ, 12 and 12, becomes the 24 elders because God established these leaders in the, or whether you can buy milk or not buy milk, or you can buy cigarettes, or you can buy alcohol, or you can buy anything. How many tickets, how many rides can you make on the transit authority, the public transit authority in the course of a month? That's allocated to you.
Even if you
Everything is a quota. Everything is allocated based on what your standing is in the culture and society of the beast. If you are supportive of everything that the beast asks of you, your credit score will get higher and higher. Don't think credit score just for finances. Okay? So if you attend an underground church, you're going to have a very low credit score. You'll be able to buy less.
that, stuff, yeah.
Now, that all disappeared
Yeah.
when Islam took over the Middle East.
Mhm.
Okay. No, the Catholic Church had nothing to do with prophecy.
Right.
That was just a dispensationalists who couldn't get over themselves. No, nothing to do with that. Is this our world team mascot now? Here's mine. Praise the Lord. I will probably have to pay for this with my life.
We all will.
I have that one too.
All of us.
We don't quit though.
We're not gonna quit.
We are not quitters. We fight till the end.
Let's turn it off. So long.